Hello and welcome to a look at the Amiga version of Flimbo's Quest, released by System 3. Dr. Franz Dandrov, just to give it a twang, has been contemplating the issue of extending life, and he has worked out a machine that can transfer life from one body and put it into another, causing the subject to wither and die, and the receiver of the life essence to become young and strong again. Of course, Franz Dandrov intends to empower himself, or youthify, whatever you call it, himself. In order to do that, he needed a victim, and of course the local beauty queen, Pearly, who was remarkably easy to kidnap, would serve his purposes quite well. Unfortunately for Franz Dandrov, Pearly's boyfriend is the local superhero, apparently, called Flimbo. Maybe he should go for a name change, I don't know. For some strange reason, Flimbo is not overly keen on the idea of someone trying to suck the life force out of his girlfriend, so he decides to try and do something about it. Onwards he goes towards Franz's mansion, but Franz, of course, becomes aware of Flimbo's rescue attempt and immediately releases his horde of genetically undesirable mutants, or gums. I wonder if that cost him a few teeth. Well, whatever. And of course, Flimbo is now in deep doo-doo. But a greedy wizard shows up and offers to help Flimbo on his quest as long as Flimbo promises to give him loads of money. So the wizard will set up shop in each of the 7 areas, and that is basically the base of operations. Sounds very cool, doesn't it? In order to progress through the different levels, Flimbo will need to find a 3-letter code, or a code. I'm not sure if there's any further letters down the line because I only got so far in the game, but a code. And he can get the code 1 letter at a time, or the full code word, depending on either buying or being lucky and get them as a drop. The enemies you can fight can potentially drop money or items, and depending on complete random luck or lack of same, it can be rather easy or rather daunting to get different things sorted, like getting enough money to buy letters in the password or the entire password, or a weapon upgrade. I said a weapon upgrade, not weapon upgrades, because you can buy one. It gives you more damage and more range, and you can't have more than one, which is a bit of a shame. If you quickly look at the interface, bottom left, an image of Franz. Right of that score, underneath that, the time. That is the time you have before Franz manages to activate his machine, effectively drying Pearly out quite extensively. In the middle you have either a target marker or whatever object you may be carrying, and if there's a target marker, that indicates what type of monster will drop the next letter. Further to the right of that you have the score, and underneath that you have lives. And furthest to the right you have an image of Pearly, and I'm sure she's going to look extensively worried as time begins to run out. You can find or buy hourglasses, which will give you 2 minutes time added to the total time, slowing down the activation of Dr. Francis' machine. So it is relatively easy if you make use of the treasure rooms that are available. There may or may not be for each level, I couldn't say, but there were treasure rooms available on the levels I tried. Completing the first level here, getting a score bonus for individual stuffs, and onwards to the next level, where of course we have different monsters to deal with. Same concept, individual objects, buying some extra time just because why not. And then it's basically rinse and repeat. Well, some new monsters I should say. Didn't take long to forget. I should probably mention the treasure rooms. As you can see, there's a lot of sacks of money. Each bag will give 5 coin things. But if you look at some of the bags, they will have a white marker on them, and if you pick them up when they have the white marker on them, it will give 20 money things instead of just 5. So you can probably gather that it's actually worth spending the time gathering the money. Of course, the time you spend in the treasure room has to pay for itself basically, because of course you will have less time to try and rescue Pearly. From a graphical point of view, this game is distinctively cutesy. It's definitely not bad looking. It suits the game quite well. I suppose the premise is a bit dramatic for the graphic style, but you need plot. A plot is a good thing, is what I was trying to say. Sound effects and music were quite appropriate for the game. Not bad. Not necessarily memorable, but definitely not bad. The controls, though. Obviously, you press up to jump, but you also change levels by jumping up. Surprise! But of course, if you press down, you will drop down a level, which is how you navigate the individual levels. The fire button will shoot stuff, and there's probably nothing overly spacey about that. It is a very common thing. I should probably mention the hearts as well, by the way, because you can sometimes get a heart and it will have a distinct color, and if you pick that heart up and drop it off back at the shop, once you've done it 4 times, you with 4 different colored hearts, you'll gain an extra life. If the hearts drop at a color you already have, you can shoot it in order to change the color, but I found that you can either destroy the hearts by shooting multiple times, so it's something to be a bit careful about. The controls are mostly okay, but I do find them to be a bit floaty at times. Maybe it's just my controller, I don't know. It could be the case. But as a whole, the game is something I could easily see being completable, but personally I just found it to be almost too daunting of a task. If you take your time and don't rush it and look out for the different enemies and their special abilities and whatnot, then you can probably relatively easily go through at least the first few levels of the game. I didn't get very far. I only had a desire to spend so much time with this game. But I remember there was a huge amount of hype about this game when it was released, and I wouldn't necessarily say that I think it lives up to the hype. Bear in mind, of course, I've been playing hundreds, if not thousands, of games over the years, so my view of this game could be tinted by other experiences, but I would say the main factor in order to potentially beat this game would be patience. Do not rush. You still need to spend as little time as possible, of course, in order to not have your girlfriend run out of juice, but at the same time, just not rushing into it is definitely something that I could see would be highly beneficial. What else is there to say? I'm fairly sure there's a Commodore 64 version of this game as well, which I may or may not look at one point or another. It's bound to be roughly the same game, just looking slightly different. It may play differently, I don't know, but if I get around to it, I may or may not have a look at that as well. But Flimbo's Quest, yeah, it is a quest that he is more than welcome to undertake by himself, and also a quest I'm not personally overly interested in trying to complete. It's a decent game, but the prospect of its length is just, for me personally, far too daunting. So on that note, thanks for watching, take care, and see you next time. Bye bye for now.